Good Erev Shabbos. Parshas told us live from Chutz La'aretz. So we know the words of Zar Kodesh that I talk about a lot, that every single syllable, not a breath, is wasted in the Torah, that Hashem uses the word, the Torah Kodesh, to communicate with us, and there's not a single thing that's not a communication for Hashem trying to teach us something. And sometimes we need to go very deep. We need to dig deep and see how do we pull these lessons out. But there's also sometimes where the answers are kind of just staring us right in the face. We just have to read the pshat of the psukim and just kind of see what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to tell us. And I think there's a very strong example in this week's Parsha about open communication that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to give us in these times, what we're supposed to be doing. So if you look in just the pshat, we're not going to go so deep. Just look in the pshat. If you look, it starts in the whole ordeal starts in Perek Kaf Hey Pasuk Gimel. Perek Kaf Vav Pasuk Gimel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Yitzchak, Gor ba'aretz hazois ve'yein chav avrecha ki l'chol l'zarecha eten eskol ha'aretz ha'sa'el v'aki Moses ha'shvu asher nishba'ati la'avram avicha. That Yitzchak was about to go down to Mitzrayim because there was a big famine in the land, and he's about to follow the same path that his father Avram did, which was go to Mitzrayim and go figure out the food. And what happened? HaKadosh Baruch Hu appears to Yitzchak and he says, no, not for you. He says, you, my friend, you were in the Akedah. It's not shaykh for you to leave Eretz Yisrael. You stay in Eretz Yisrael. I'm going to bless you. Don't worry. There's famine, all this stuff. Don't worry. I got you. And he just says, okay, of course. Thank you, Baruch Hu. And I'm a man of God. I'm going to live with God. I believe you. Of course. And Yitzchak lives and he goes to Gerar. And what do we see? Now let's just see mamish the pshat. Just go through the psukim in the pshat. I'm going to say them really outside. I'm not really going to go through them inside, but it's very kedai just to even just read through this after you hear kind of just a way maybe to look at the psukim. So it says in Perek Kavav, again, now you look at Pasuk Gimel, it says, Vayigdal ha'ish, vayelech haloch, v'gadol adki, gadol me'od. That what happens, Yitzchak becomes very wealthy. Of course. Why? Because of the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu says, in the face of famine, stay here and just trust me. He says, of course, I'm a man of God, I will do that. And he becomes very, very wealthy. The next Pasuk says, right, Vayikanu was Plishtim, that the Plishtim became jealous, very jealous. As we like to see, the story of the Jews, that what happens? Yitzhak lives and breathes HaKadosh Baruch Hu's bracha. He lives Hashem, and he starts to see the success, and everybody starts to get jealous. And then what happens? Avimelech, the king, says, get out. Why? What's the sole reason for you to get out? Oh, because you're so successful. Because you're so successful. Because you're doing so successful. And believe it or not, actually says, Rashi explains that the people started to do business with Yitzchak. Because why? Because he exuded godliness. He was mamish. First of all, he became very wealthy. And he did business so honestly. He did business so well. His business was just blessed. It was blessed. He did business with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He did business with God. Nobody wanted to do it with anybody else. Just everyone wanted to do business with Yitzchak. So Avimelech kicks him out. And he says, leave. Why? There's literally no reason. The only reason is because you're more successful. Because we're all jealous of you. Because we see that you're blessed. We see that you're so much more successful than us. So get out, go to Golas, get out of my land, right? And already you're seeing here that what's the ikar reason, what's the core reason, is all stemming from the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then Yitzhak goes and what does he do? He goes and sets up camp further away and he redigs the wells that Avram Avinu dug. The wells that, again, back in the day, the wells that was the source of that was the source of Parnasa, big Parnasa. And Yitzhak goes and digs a well. And what happens? They follow him. The Plishtim follow him. They say, that's our well. He says, what do you mean it's not your well? I dug it. No, it's our well. And what's going on? He says, fine, take your stupid well. I'm out. Bye. Okay. Chas Hashem. It's not on those words exactly, but you can imagine the dialogue that was going on. And he went and dug another well further away. He went even further away from there. And what did they do? They followed him there and said, that's our well. Give us our well. And he says, what are you talking about? This is your well. I dug this well. This is my place. This is my hard work. This is my toil. You have no shaykhs to this. No, this is it. And then finally, they keep on going. Until finally Yitzchak gets to a place where he digs a well very far away. The Plishtim don't bother him. He's too far away. They can't even make a claim. And he says, Baruch Hashem. And he says that this is the well that Kadosh Baruch Hu gave me. And he says, what does he say in the words Yitzchak says when he finally got there? Vayomer ki ata hirchiv Hashem lanu farina ba'aretz. Right now, Yitzchak finally, and he acknowledges Kadosh Baruch Hu, and he says, this is the well that Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us. What's the lesson? What's the pshat? What do we keep seeing in these psukim? If you read them inside, again, I kind of skim them on the outside. But just what we have in this generation, especially, you see, whether it's Eretz Yisrael, whether it's in Chutz La'aretz, how much sorrow do we go through? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you recognize the bracha that Yitzchak gave, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Yitzchak, he didn't say to Yitzchak, you're not going to face any troubles, you're not going to face any tzaros, you're not going to face any people trying to claim things from you, and trying to kick you out, and trying to make your life miserable. Hashem didn't say you're not going to experience that. right? That's not what the bracha is. The bracha is if Hashem says, if you stick with me, if you believe with me, if you just live godliness, if you live a life with me and you follow me, you're gonna be successful no matter what. And all the tzaddos all root back to that. And what's the real reason they were following? What's the real reason they were just trying to start up with him? It's because they were jealous. They were jealous of the fact that he had this special connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that he lived and breathed godliness. That's the reason. The famous question is, why was Balak so scared when Bnei Yisrael was about to go? They were right outside of Moab, because we know that Hashem said, "Don't touch the people of Moab," right? And why was he so scared? And the Mefarshim say that he wasn't scared that they were actually going to come physically conquer. He was scared of what the Jews represented. He didn't want the Jews who exuded godliness and looking beyond nature and these godly values. He didn't want to bring them into their lives. They didn't want to deal with that. They just wanted to live their own life of gashmias and shtos, and they didn't want to have to deal with that there's actually much more to this life, much more to this world. And we see ultimately that the Avimelech came, and after all of this, he came and made peace with Yitzchak. Why? Because he said, we see that Kodesh Baruch Hu blessed you. That's the Ikar of Kiddush Hashem. The Ikar of Kiddush Hashem is not trying to, try to give away all of our land. They're trying to give away, make a two-state solution. If we give them this well, they'll claim another well. If we give them that well, they'll claim another well. The idea is, what we have to do is, we have to live our life, and we have to show them. We have to show everybody else. We have to show the goyim. We have to show the world that, again, ultimately, at the end of the day, we recognize that all the brachos comes from one place, and that's the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And if we live that life and we show everybody that that's all what we value, then you're going to see that ultimately that's how we're going to find peace. But the main thing that we have to do is, once we hit that final well, once we keep on going, every step of the way, you just have to acknowledge Hashem. We have to recognize that it's all Kodesh Baruch Hu, and that's the bracha that we're going to be able to reap, just like Yitzchak Avinu. Shkoyach.